But football's become soft like our country has become soft.
And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.
I'm going to drink a lot of Budweiser tonight, Tracy, and I promise you that.
Hello? You play to win the game.
I hate football!
They're like, Pat, how'd you punt so well today? I'm like, good question.
Did you realize that you were a champion in their eyes? Yes, I did. So I packed it up and brought it back to the
Pat, AJ, I have no intention of getting through this podcast without talking about your holiday season, talking about your Christmas plans. But before we do, I want to talk about my Christmas. Patriots at Steelers today. The biggest game of the year in terms of what it meant for the standings. The best game of the year? Am I going out on a limb to say, just in terms of a friggin' football game, that was as good as we've seen in 15 weeks?
It lived up to its billing, that is for sure. It was a very Seattle, New England ending that left everybody in disarray. If you watch Le'Veon Bell and that whole thing, from before the ball is fake spiked to the pass, to the interception, he looks like a real child if you watch the film back. He turns, ducks his head, and just walks away like somebody stole his ball and went home. But what a fucking game. You got Wizard of Oz there ready to kick the game-tying field goal, cover the over for both teams, and all of a sudden, this Matt Patricia bullshit down near the end zone, all of a sudden, a game-winning interception, it's over. What a fucking great game. That was awesome to watch.
AJ, you have any issues with the non-touchdown? Jesse James trying to stretch it across.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's within the rules. Yes, it is not a touchdown because he was not considered a ball carrier, so he wasn't, I guess, established as a runner.
He took that thing from his dick to the end zone. He was doing the fucking...
No, it's a touchdown. It's a touchdown 100%. The rules are stupid, and because of the rules, it's not a touchdown.
I hate the fucking rules. I hate them. I hate the people that call the rules. I hate the people that make the rules. I don't, just like the Kansas City Chiefs. I had the Kansas City Chiefs team total over, and that catch that was dragged across the ground that didn't even budge while the tip of the ball. I mean, there's been so many catches, non-catches, but if we go back to this game, if Antonio Brown is still playing that entire game, Jerry, I think it's a much different outcome for your beloved New England Patriots.
Oh, without a doubt. And if you're the guy who was sitting there celebrating, and I don't know that guy.
It was a great game, by the way.
Yeah, if you're someone who's happy that the best player on the opponent gets knocked out, you're kind of a dick, and karma will get you. Bad things will happen to you, and you have no right to sit there and go, what did I do to deserve this? I wasn't that. I want to see Antonio Brown out there. I want to see them beat him.
It's also not the Patriots' fault, though, that he got hurt. So right. It's one of those things where I felt like a bit of a dick there. If Antonio Brown's playing, it's a whole different ball game. But it's not the New England Patriots' fault. I think that was an incredible game. I loved watching it. I enjoyed it a lot. Gostkowski had a missed extra point there. That was the holder's fault. I was waiting to go online to see everybody say Gostkowski should be fired. I couldn't wait to see that. It was just an incredible game from beginning to end. I enjoyed it a lot.
AJ, hold up for 1 second, because on that missed extra point, I thought it was on the snapper. Am I wrong?
Yeah, definitely on the snapper. Anytime an operation is fucked up, it's both though, right? So the laces and placement of the snap is 100% on the snapper. There was a bobble too. It looked like it got scraped against the ground, so the rhythm was messed up. It was completely an operation failure. Although Ryan Allen and that long snapper are an incredible tag team. That shit happens every once in a while.
All right, and I feel like a traitor to my country because the long snapper is Joe Cardona, who they drafted. They actually drafted a long snapper out of Navy.
Yeah, thank you for his service.
2 years, this guy had to meet his commitment, going to practice and then shooting down to Rhode Island, to Newport, to go do his naval service or whatever. And I feel like an a-hole for saying it was on him. But last week I said he was the best player for the Patriots because all they did was punt, and his snaps were perfect. So clearly, when a missed extra point happens, I never knew that it was on anybody but the kicker until I started hanging with you.
Well, I think a lot of people did that because a lot of people calling the games don't know their fucking dick from a hole in the ground, man. That's just kind of the way it goes. And it's I'm happy I could learn that on you, and I'm a big fan of that long snapper. But that type of thing happens to everybody. I'll tell you what, I learned a lot about a team today that was fucking real good. and they broke my best friend's fucking comeback story hard. Look, Cam Newton is a football player, man. Did you see what happened with him and Clay Matthews? Did you see what happened with him and Clay Matthews?
No, I was in and out of the game, so I don't know exactly what you're talking about.
Clay Matthews, from watching film or whatever, gets a read on a play in the red zone. They're like, it's inside the 10 or whatever. And Clay Matthews starts screaming, it's that wheel route. It's that wheel route. It's the wheel route. Cam Newton looks at him and goes, you've been watching film, huh? That's nice. Watch this. And then Hutt throws a fucking touchdown on an in to make it was a fake wheel route. It was like such a perfect thing to happen if you're Cam Newton. Like you could tell that he was that's a next level confidence there. Absolutely knew he was going against a Green Bay defense that he could shred apart. And Cam Newton and that Carolina Panthers team is a hell of a team. They're fun to watch, man. That's a fun game to watch, although they broke the heart of my best friend. I mean, my best friend came back, and he was supposed to get a big win. He covered 21.5 points, which I knew he would do. Las Vegas always thinks he's not going to perform to the level that he's going to perform. They're not going to score 21.5 points. Are you kidding me? He's been sitting around watching football for 6 weeks. You don't think he's going to come back and score at least 3 tunners and a field goal? Get out of here. He covers that, but still, a loss at the end of the day is just breaking my heart, really. AJ?
AJ, do you think I need to tell people who Pat's best friend is? Do you think that they can infer that from the references?
Everybody
Obviously,
knows.
you're talking about Aaron Rodgers, who came off of basically his deathbed and obviously wasn't ready to play, but give him all the credit in the world for nutting up and getting out there and trying to throw balls deep that were just beyond what his shoulder could handle, right?
That's just what Aaron does. That's what Aaron does.
I don't know if it was beyond what his shoulder could handle. I think it's like anything. He's been out of the lineup 6-7 weeks. You're coming back, your timing's going to be a little off. You might throw a couple a bit high. Who knows what he's going to feel like tomorrow? But he held up. He took a few decent shots. He ran the ball. He wasn't scared.
Yeah.
So I think it's just whatever. I hate saying like rust because who knows what that means. But yeah. Think about it. The quarterback is the toughest position to play in all of professional sports, and you're going to take 6 weeks. They literally still should have won the game. If Geronimo Allison doesn't fumble on that last drive, we all know they're gonna tie it.
Aaron Rodgers is gonna run it down the field. They're going to score. All of a sudden, him and McCarthy are drawing plays in the dirt. Things are happening. Golly. Aaron Rodgers didn't deserve it today, Jerry.
Hey, how nervous were you when it was 31-17?
I was so nervous. I was sweating a little bit, and then I saw an onside kick recovery for the brand. Mason Crosby, normally an incredible high hopper, hits a shit one, but it gets a great bounce. McCaffrey can't handle it. The rookie out of Stanford's got a big brain, but he had the big bobbles on the onside kick against the Green Bay Packers. They're back in the game. And all of a sudden, it all goes for naught. And Aaron Rodgers' little celebration story and his thought that he had in his head when he was on the surgery bed just gets ruined by an incredible football team in Carolina.
So what should they do? Should he sit out? They're not technically out of it until Monday night. Atlanta plays Tampa Bay. If Atlanta wins, then Green Bay is technically out of the playoffs for good. There's still some outside
So
shot
we're
now
banking on Tampa. We're banking on Tampa to eat a W on when? Monday night?
I guess, yeah. They got to eat a dub for you, Pat.
Bro. For me and Aaron, right?
Yep, for you and Aaron.
All right.
For your future podcast guest.
Wait until you see this motivational speech I'm going to drop on the internet tomorrow to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers about how me and Aaron and all of America need them to eat a fucking W tonight. I'm going to do that. Check at Pat McAfee Show and at Barstool Heartland, all the social media pages to see that tomorrow. Today, actually, the day this is released. God damn it. That ain't never going to happen, AJ.
I know.
Fuck. I got to take a deep dive into an issue involving one of these teams, but just involving Rodgers. He had that, that play. He had Cobb open behind the safeties, and that's when he almost never misses, and it was underthrown, and it was a pick. Then he had the one where he rolled the pocket. Same thing. He had Jordy Nelson because the safeties bit up, and he hits that 99 times out of 100. And again, it was overthrown. It was picked. So I think it was just one of those things where a guy came out and gave you all he had. Just what he had wasn't what he usually gives you, right? So I'm not knocking him.
I think more like 1,999 times out of 2,000, or 2001. He makes those passes. Let's remember that. Unbelievable. Aaron Rodgers was looking good, too. Did you see the little dime he threw underneath for his first tutty there? I mean, it was looking real nice. They did the fucking speed walking celebration. I said, hey, Green, hey, is back. You know what I mean? I was all excited about it.
Did you like it? And what'd you think of the speed walking?
I love it. That's one of my favorite Olympic events. The fucking dumbass NBC people were like, and they race walked. That is not what they did. They turn your TV on at 2:33 a.m., get a little bit high during the Olympics, and you'll see these humans blistering all over their feet. They're bleeding from every single toe of theirs. They're speed walking 26 miles where one foot has to be on the ground at all times, so this waddle is an impressive thing. It's great. I like gymnastics. I like speed walking. I look forward to the curling events. The Olympics are meant for high, super patriotic people because all their little events, if you get a little bit high, you're dialed in, and then now you have a rooting interest because it's time for your country to beat the fuck out of another country, and it's awesome. I just love everything about it.
Now, AJ, you a big fan of sports where people don't go as fast as humanly possible?
I guess if I was on the Pat McAfee plan, then yeah, I think I'd be a fan of anything that's on the TV at that moment. So, but I'm not really on the same wavelength as Pat. I don't live in the same reality as him.
There's a lot of bad shit on TV. Let's remember that. Saturday Night Live hasn't been good about 3 years. They made the funniest dude on earth look terrible a couple nights ago. Anyways, Kevin Hart.
Oh, Kevin Hart's the funniest dude on earth?
I think he's one of them. I think he should definitely be up there as one of them. He sells out fucking stadiums. And then he gets on Saturday Night Live and it's just like, whoa, dud.
Oh, I didn't even know he was on there. Did he host?
Yeah, he hosted. Rush, his monologue was good. It's him telling stories. It's good, whatever. But then it's just bad. But there is bad things on TV no matter how high you get, AJ. I don't like you taking this stand against marijuana people like that. We have good taste, okay? We have good taste.
I was not knocking it at all. I was just trying to say, yeah, how with you describing it, it sounds like fun, I guess, whatever you may be watching.
Have you ever watched speed walking?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's good, isn't it? You saw the training camp, probably.
Very confusing. Very, very confusing.
Yeah, but the commitment. Think about the commitment, like the mental discipline not to just run. Like, think about every single step you could just run, but you have to restrain yourself. You have to have one heel, one toe, one heel, one toe, heel, toe, hip shrug, all the way 26 miles. You're trying to win a fucking gold medal for your country. I mean, that's something you got to respect.
Okay.
Yeah. To me, it's like those horse races where the jockey sits on a little cart, a little chariot behind the horse. Yeah. They're trotter racing. And it's like, why do I want to see these majestic creatures run less fast than they possibly could? Why do I want to watch humans walk
People
fast?
love college sports. I mean, they're terrible, most of them. They're slow and terrible, most college athletes, and people love watching it. So there's an example of what you just said, just a complete backwards against it. People love college athletics.
I got a question for you guys. So obviously Cowboys, Raiders on Sunday night game. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Oakland seems to have about half as many lights as most professional football stadiums. It's like the lights even in the end zone. It reminds me of that old show that ESPN had for a minute on TV when dudes were like snorting coke and taking pills at halftime, where just the field is lit up and nothing else, and it barely even lights up 100 yards.
I love it. That's because that place is so old. It sucks to be, this. The locker room sucks. The shitter sucks. The toilet sucks. Everything sucks about that place except for, because it sucks so bad, the environment is so incredible. The fans are right on top of you. You're playing in a baseball stadium. The fucking DJ's pounding out all bay hits of raps. The entire place is high, but that type of terrible lighting is just like the allure of it. That's why when they go to Vegas, I mean, I think the NFL is losing out on an incredible atmosphere.
Yeah, but it speaks volumes that they've moved from that shithole stadium twice now. Right? I mean, because it's been the same one throughout, right? I mean, like, how many times did Al Davis try to get something on the books to get a new stadium? And I don't blame the people of Oakland for saying we're not spending tax money on you like you're a billionaire, but I get why if I'm Mark Davis, I put down my Legos long enough to say, you know what, let's just turn on half the lights.
That dude's fucking face. That dude's face is outrageous, man. With that fucking haircut. Dude, I saw him at a hotel. I was checking in next to him, and I looked over, And I might have stared at him for like a good 20 or 30 seconds because obviously I was in a state of mind where I was analyzing things. And I was like, man, if I was a billionaire, would I live any differently than that motherfucker right there? And I'd be like, well, definitely a different haircut. Definitely a fucking different set of clothes. He was dressed like a fucking asshole. And I was like, but if you're a billionaire, who gives a fuck? Even that guy can do whatever he wants for the rest of his life. The rest of his life, that guy. He can have that haircut and walk into places and be like, yup, deal with it. Like, because he just has $1 billion. That's why I've started a GoFundMe. I've asked Jim Irsay. I'm trying to buy the Carolina Panthers so I can live that same fucking life as that guy.
Thank you, because I was going to bring that up when I mentioned the issues with the Panthers. It's just happened when we've been podcasting in the last hour or so that a couple of accusations coming out of the blue against Jerry Richardson that he's part of the Me Too movement, that he's been creeping on employees. I don't even know the details, but I know they're going to be amazing because this guy is selling an NFL franchise which is a license to print money. This guy who's what? Is he 87?
Is it though? Is it still though? Like, I think for sure he is retiring and getting out of the game because of these accusations that are coming out. I mean, this shit doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. But he's scared of it, obviously. I think he sees it as an out almost because he's going to get a few $1 billion, just like that dude from the Clippers, that racist guy from the Clippers, Sterling. He was like the most racist. He said some racist shit. It was all over the place. Then he sold his team for like fucking $4 billion or something. They're like, oh, terrible. What a fuck. Yep, that's what you get. You know, this guy, same thing. He's going to get probably $2.5 billion. That's why I started a GoFundMe. Right now, you go into my Twitter account or to AJ Hawk's Twitter account. You can find it. Jim Irsay is also going to be a donor in it. We're going to buy the Panthers. But I think this is an out for him. I think his family sees it as a way for him to sell the place and get the fuck out of there because I don't know how bright the future of the NFL is in business conversations amongst owners. This Jerry Jones shit coming to light is pretty interesting. They're talking a lot of shit about a lot of the decisions that Goodell's making. I think there's some conversations about the Papa John's getting out of there, by the way. That might as well be an NFL owner move. That might as well be an NFL owner telling him to do that because Papa's so invested in the NFL. I think there's a lot of uncertainty almost about the future of the NFL and the business side.
Yeah, see, we've been writing about this extensively on the blog, from Weinstein to Kevin Spacey, I mean, on and on, Matt Lauer. And I thought, it's kind of a weird thing that it hadn't hit sports yet because it seems like just such a natural, right? I mean, who's attracted to sports but alpha males, whether you're an athlete or an owner? Guys that have had their asses kissed since the time they were like, 14 years old by coaches and educators and actual groupies and whatever. And it took a while, but now it's starting to drop. And I'm glad it hit an owner really before it hit a bunch of players because those guys need to be knocked down a peg.
What do you mean? It happens to players all the time.
Yeah, that's not a surprise if it happens to players.
But I'm saying we haven't had a wide range of actually the first NFL player that really got specifically named in something is 61 years old, and that's Warren Moon.
I partied with Warren Moon one night. I'll tell you what, Warren Moon fucking gets after it. I don't know what he did, but Warren Moon, he brought his own bottle of tequila to the party. And then, I was like, Warren, holy shit, you're Warren Moon, And he was like, yeah, who are you? And I was like, my name's Peyton Manning. And he said, that is not your name. I said, you're right. My name's Pat. He said, okay. I said, I work here. It was at the Baskets house. Hank was like, this guy is the punter for the Colts or whatever. And Warren Moon goes like, oh, I've always hated punters. I was like, cool. Thanks for that, Warren. And then we got incredibly intoxicated together, and we had a great time. I didn't know there was some accusations coming out about him. He threw me a touchdown into a pool, into the deep end at about 3:30, 4 a.m. in Calabasas, California, and I fucking snagged that thing two-handed, AJ. Two-handed, right over the shoulders. Put it in my bread basket. Warren Moon to McAfee. Think about it. Could have been a dynamic tandem, but now we got some accusations coming in out about the QB of that thing. That's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah, what happened is he's got his own business now, and he hires this assistant who her job was to put on thong underwear and curl up and go to bed with him And then the other usual stuff, like the Weinstein stuff, like this. For some reason, there's always massages and showers involved. Like the MO of the creep. Like when they script their first 15 plays, the first play from scrimmage is always watch me take a shower. I don't get the appeal of that. You're Warren Moon. You should probably be able to get at least some Canadian poon because you're a legend up there. But nope, he was creeping on his 31-year-old employee and told her that's what the girl who worked this job before you used to do. Spoon with me in a hotel bed.
Wow. He also did.
That's such an aggressive move, by the way. Like now that I run a business, I kind of run a business out here, which I really do. I have employees and shit. Like thinking about hiring somebody here. Now listen, here's the deal, okay? I'm going to expect you to edit some videos, okay, between like noon to 2. Then at night, we cuddle. That's what happens. Every night, 5 days a week, you get Saturdays off. Sunday's a bonus night if you want it, but we're going to cuddle for sure. That is wild to me. That's like Matt Lauer, the fucking shit he was like hearing about these people. It's wild, fucking wild world out there. But Hollywood's burning down. So that means good, better.
You don't tell him that when you interview him. You don't tell him that. I'm sure Warren Moon didn't, but it got weird the first business trip they took together.
Oh, you think there was one room ordered, king bed? You could sleep on the couch, or you could sleep on the couch over there, or cuddle. Yeah. What a wild move by Warren Moon. Wow, guy threw me a touchdown.
Think about it. Think of you say he's 61 years old, Jerry?
Yeah, he's in his 60s.
He can still sling it. He threw it to me at least 35 yards into that pool. At least.
No, he looks great. I'm sure he's got a rocket for an arm still. But to be 61 and, first off, be hitting on someone half your age, that would just be really weird, I feel like.
Yeah, and here's a guy, too, that should be one of the all-time great inspirational stories. Like the one you tell a kid about, to inspire him. Like, all right, here's a guy who was great in college.
He still is, though. What does that take? Can't you separate the two?
Yeah. It's not his first. It's not his first go round.
I don't think so, AJ.
He's been accused in the past of other things.
Yeah, of his wife. I don't know if he got charged with domestic abuse or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know this when I'm playing hanky-panky with him.
Still playing football.
There was also a Vikings cheerleader that he settled out of court with who said he paid her for sex or whatever. But I mean, you want to be.
How's that on him?
Consensual.
How's that on him?
No, it wasn't. No, it was. Oh yeah, she was like, no, I want no part of this. And
I thought she was a professional.
Yeah, no. And the bottom line is, there's a guy that got overlooked coming out of college back in the day where there was like the stigma being a black quarterback was still a thing. And had to go to Canada and prove himself, and he comes back and he plays till he's 40, and he had a great career, and now he's gonna be forever known as the guy who wanted his employee to wear thong underwear. And by the way, if that's consensual, if say you and Jeff Vibbs wanna, spoon a little bit, Pat,
we don't.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I'm good. Okay.
Yeah, but we don't.
Just saying, I'm not casting aspersions. I'm not judging.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. We don't, though. So we don't.
Not implying that you did, but if you did, and if you decide to do it in the future, I think AJ and I will completely support you. What I want to know is what Jerry Richardson was doing specifically. Like those details will come out.
So much more. The fact that he put this stuff came out 2 or 3 days ago.
Yep, selling the team. So there has to be so much on him that we're going to find out soon enough. No, you won't find out about it. I don't think you'll find out about it. He's selling the team. This is the other 31 billionaires saying, you leave, and it'll be good. You just leave and we'll make it disappear.
How about every single media person like Jerry Thornton over there, almost forgot your last name again, Jer, is sitting there. I almost called you Richardson, but is sitting there digging into everything, calling every single female, any person that's ever worked for him, been around him. They're going to dig up the information. Once it hits, it's almost impossible to keep anything under wraps. You can't have everybody sign an NDA. You can't pay everybody off in settlements like
I guess Bill you're O'Reilly. Right, because who knows what you say about Bill O'Reilly? $25 million?
He had right before he still had his gig, and they found out that Fox had paid 14 or 18 mil in hush money in lawsuits they brought up against him that he just paid to settle.
$18 million being tossed around in terrible fucking people. What? I didn't know that. What a wild world we're living in right now, by the way. Hey, you old fuckers, Jerry, you guys used to just live like it was the Wild West around here. Just do whatever the fuck you guys wanted to do.
I feel like I maybe missed out. I don't know. Like I worked with women. I worked for women, and it never dawned on me that I would try to mess up a perfectly good gig because I wanted to make some woman uncomfortable on the job. I don't get it. Again, if you're Matt Lauer, say you're Mark Davis, who's not been accused of anything. You're a billionaire. You can get chicks. I don't care if you look like Mark Davis. I don't care if you lick windows. And if you go on the road with coloring books and stuff, you can get women just because you have so much money to toss around. Why would a Jerry Richardson feel the need to creep up on women? And look at what's going on with the NFL Network, something we haven't even talked about.
I still didn't get a call, by the way. The NFL Network lost half of their talent, and I still didn't get a call. Did you get a call, AJ?
Nope.
Think about how Michael Irvin is with his wife, by the way, right now. I just want you to think about that relationship. When everybody else around you is getting in trouble for doing something with this wardrobe
woman,
They were all taking shots at her. Isn't that crazy? Every single guy was taking shots, sending dick
every
pics.
dude is just sending dick pics to this lady. I don't know what's going on, but Michael Irvin, not doing it. Michael Irvin, Michael Irvin, who has one of the worst reputations probably in the history of maybe the NFL, from the White House to everything else that was going on. And here he is, just a completely changed, good, wholesome man.
Right.
Is that not amazing to think about? That, in my eyes, when all that news came out, I was like, oh, that's terrible that's going on. And then I saw Michael Irvin on TV that night, literally for Thursday Night Football, or a couple nights later. I saw Michael Irvin talking. I'm like, good for Michael Irvin, huh? For Michael Irvin. Terrible for the other guys.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing his name into it, because he got accused of something earlier in the year and immediately came out and just said, there's nothing to this, and I'm going to cooperate with whatever investigation because I'm going to clear my name. And I have I'm not unbiased when it comes to Michael Irvin. I used to get to interview him on the radio once a week, and I thought he was great, absolutely just a guy who's open and honest and hilarious or whatever. And he confronted it head on. And I took some crap on the blog, the comment section, saying, you're defending this creep. Well, he got exonerated. The police looked into it. There was nothing to it. It was a friend of the family. He did nothing. The fact that all these other people, Heath Evans, who I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's a real Bible thumper.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what. I don't know if he did it. These are all accusations, right? None of us know anything about anything. But the guys who act holier than thou that this comes out against is really one of the world's most karma moments here in the year of the wokeness, which is what 2017 is, learning about everything. Because Heath is a very religious man, He believes that Jesus came out of a virgin right there heavily, and he's going to go ahead and let him walk on water and all that. And then you just got dick pics floating around everywhere. Heath, take it easy, pal. Okay, God created it. Doesn't mean everybody wants to see it, Puzz. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the fact that he is so juiced up, clearly.
He's a monster, by the way. He did that 225 thing for the combine, and it was he was in a full suit. Did you see that, AJ?
Oh, yeah.
He would pick you up and drop you on your head, AJ. That's what Heath Evans would do right now. If this was a fullback linebacker one-on-one situation with you and Heath Evans at this current moment, right now, not back in the day, I'm talking about right now, I think you, just like many men, many men would end up flat on their back. Heath Evans looks like an absolute animal right now.
Yeah, he does. He is an absolute animal. And Jerry, he was a Patriots guy. So what do you do?
Wow, you got a murderer up there.
Another guy that was a regular guest on the radio show that I did, and liked him a lot. I always thought he was super forthcoming and had a lot to say and really brought it every week. But when a guy is, it's one thing if you're accused, what's his name? Marshall Faulk apparently would grab boobs as a way of saying good morning. Okay, there's a gray area. That's a he said, she said. When her lawyers are armed with texts from Heath Evans, that's hard for Heath Evans to disprove.
There's text from everybody, though, Jerry. All of them. Marshall, they all sent her videos. I can't believe the videos. They said a couple of them sent videos of them in the shower.
Yeah, jacking it in the shower. Ike Taylor, I think, was one of those guys.
What?
Warren Sapp was giving her sex toys.
Yo, DJ Khaled was doing Snapchats in his shower like 2 years ago. We need to talk about that real quick because I'm sure he got famous off of it. But these dudes are sending videos of them just beating the shit out of themselves, right? 3 different dudes?
To this woman, right. 3 years in a row, Warren Sapp gave her sex toys for Christmas. Like, what kind of a freakish Secret Santa are you running over there, Roger Goodell? And it turned out that now the vice president of NFL media was routinely going on Twitter and having back and forths with porn actresses and actual live professional prostitutes, like interacting with them. Now, I'm a guy that happens to have had a couple friendly Twitter exchanges with the great Jenna Jameson, the legendary Jenna Jameson. I'm not ashamed of that, but I'm not working for this league that puts itself above everybody else and has this, high moral, standard by which they gauge everybody.
There's no way the NFL Network's going to let me on their airwaves, huh? Now that I think about it. No way. No, I said.
You want to edit this show and just say positive things about them so they'll give you the gig? I'm happy
I don't give a fuck about any of that. They understand that if they want ratings to go up, there's only one mouthpiece that needs to be put on a desk or in a microphone in front of them. They know that. They do know that. But now they're going to have to cover their ass so much with how terrible this is going to be PR-wise for them that they might just only hire Mormons. Like Austin Colley's going to get a call. There's going to be like a couple. I don't know if they're going to take a risk on any, but this NFL Network is about to change completely for a long, long time, I think. For a long time. That thing.
Well, Jerry, that's what confused me. So that executive, supposedly he just started frantically deleting some of those old tweets. He's publicly, he wasn't DMing porn stars and escorts. Right. He was like going back at things that they would say, I guess, trying to chop it up with them and see if they were throwing the hook out there, see if they took the bait. It was so weird.
Are they like porn bots? Or are they like actual, like, what are they? Are they the porn bots that like Jim Irsay accidentally liked?
No, I think he was like a porn star would tweet something and he would reply directly to her, "Oh yeah, real sunny today," or something like that.
Yeah, like one of them, for instance, showed a picture like from her collarbone down to like her belly button and with her guns hanging out and said something about, "Oh, these are resting on the desk right now." And his thing would be like, "Wow, that's a lucky desk." Like his game was terrible, first of all.
That's from the same era. Like, that's your era of human, though. You need to know that. Like, your human does that. Your human also fucking snorts cocaine on a desk while videotaping it while sending it to a prostitute 2,000 miles away. Not even one that you could have sex with. Your era of humans does some interesting shit, Jerry. I don't know.
And so what, am I responsible? Am I here to represent these guys any more than I expect some 60-year-old to represent, Warren Moon or Jim Irsay?
I get yelled at for every fucking article that Feidelberg puts out about cyclists. So like I have to take the blame for something that happens in New York City. I get yelled at about that. So yeah, you should get yelled at about your entire era of human that existed. It's a wild era.
And I will take it for the following reason, that I've existed online for as long as these guys have and never been accused of the same stuff. And I think it helps that I work for a site that is brutally honest, and we are what we are, and we're not pretending to be something that we are not. I'm a guy who spends half of my week writing snarky blogs about teachers that bang their students. So in no way am I trying to be holier than thou as, like, say, an NFL owner or NFL Network or, Roger Goodell's little state-run media over there. He's got a nightmare on his hands right now, and I think what we've seen is just the beginning of it, whereas Barstool, we don't do that. We appreciate that women want to be on the site, and we don't have to creep on them.
Jerry, Pat, I don't know if you're aware of this or not. Jerry, you should be because you're a professional Patriots ball washer, and this happened in their game. And I want to know if you think there will be repercussions when Martavis Bryant scored his touchdown. Did you see he laid on the ground and they mimicked Juju Smith-Schuster stood over top of him and mimicked the hit that he had on Vontaze Burfict?
Is that what it was?
Taunting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good by you, because I didn't pick up on that either.
It makes so much, because I was watching it and it happened, and my lady was like, that didn't work out. I was like, they definitely just mimicked something. I can't wait. I actually said I can't wait to find out what the fuck that was. And that is such a clever celebration right there. AJ, you think that's clever or not?
It depends. I would be fearful for my life if I was both of them, especially Juju.
For sure. For Vontaze?
Yeah, and
you're right.
Isn't this something he got suspended one game for it? Don't you think this is something Goodell could suspend him or do something? I mean, at the very least, I would imagine this would be a fine.
I didn't know you were that type of guy, calling for Goodell to suspend people. Wow.
I wasn't calling for him to suspend him. I was saying you got suspended for this hit and what you did on this play, largely because you did stand over top of him. They didn't say that. But I guarantee you, if you didn't stand over top of him, you may have just got a $50,000 fine and not got suspended one game. But then you reenact it, which means that if you think about it, at some point during the week you talked about this celebration.
Yep. At some point that was predetermined. That was a conversation. I was like, man, that's bullshit. Yeah, it is. Let's do it as a celebration.
So I'm not saying he should be suspended. I'm saying that's just a lapse in judgment. The awareness level, I don't know where it is when that would be your celebration, I guess. It just right. Juju's only 21 years old, I think, anyway. So I don't get it. I really don't. And I don't know what the good thing for him is that I promise you that Goodell has no clue. He is not smart enough to realize what was going on.
Yeah, you just got him suspended. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking right at the camera. AJ Hawk just got Juju Smith-Schuster. What's his name? Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju Smith-Schuster. AJ Hawk just got Juju Smith-Schuster suspended another game because AJ Hawk is out for blood because his father-in-law's chopper and his dad's pistol. That's what he does. Unbelievable.
Trust me. It's on the internet, Pat. I don't know I don't know if you noticed that. People figure that stuff out pretty quickly. So I'd imagine one of Goodell's minions will make him aware of what it was.
Hey, Grigson had like a guy who just watched my Twitter. Hilarious to think about, by the way. Hilarious to think about that conversation.
Whoever that guy was, you should have just trolled him the whole time.
Oh, dude, I didn't know who it was until afterwards. I found out afterwards. I found out after, he mentioned something happening, to somebody, and then that person told me, and I'm like, this motherfucker's got somebody watching me, doesn't he? And then I was like, it was kind of comical. I mean, it's just funny because you got to have a conversation that's like, listen, your job, okay, this is your job schedule. All right, you're going to come in, you're going to scout a little bit of offense, defense, you're going to break down some film, you're going to give me some notes, and then at night, just while you're laying around, go ahead and watch at Pat McAfee Show and let me know if that motherfucker does anything. That's a hilarious conversation that has to happen.
See, to me, the best way to handle this is the way Mike Krzyzewski does, which is he tells his players that he's following them all on Twitter as with a fake account as a chick, and if any of them acts out, he's going to know about it, and he probably doesn't even do it. It's just the implied threat of it. You know what I mean? It's like I've always said, America shouldn't spend money on stealth fighters or stealth bombers because they cost $1 billion a piece. Just tell everybody we do.
So
they won't know the goddamn difference.
Imagine if that's what Brian Kelly was doing, and this Manti Te'o thing was all just Brian Kelly this whole time. Have we thought about that yet? Wow, mind blower. Wow, Manti Te'o was engaged to Brian Kelly. Now that I think about it, holy fuck.
See, that would be genius on Kelly's part. Play the dying girlfriend to inspire your guy.
What if Brian Kelly's that good of a coach that he faked being, what was her name, Lana?
R.I.P.
R.I.P. By the way, rest in peace to her. But guys fall for catfishing, by the way, at a irregular rate when in professional sports. Just for future reference, guys are new to town. They get on their electronic devices attempting to fornicate with something in the new surrounding area. Pictures are shown that are not the human. Bang, bang. I've seen it happen so much. Manti Te'o's case was just blown out of proportion. Everybody's catfishing everybody. Everybody's profile picture is their best photo they've ever taken before they fall down the what the fuck happened to your face tree and hit every goddamn limb. It happens. That's why Throwback Thursday is such a big thing. These are both dudes and chicks. So I don't hate on Manti Te'o for this, but if this was Brian Kelly acting as a female just to see how his students were acting and then he dumped them, I think that's next level genius coaching. And I think I'm all in on the Brian Kelly train. I think I want to donate money to Notre Dame that they need.
I literally have hundreds of porn bots asking to friend me on Facebook. And it's the easiest thing in the world to check. You look and there's 2 pictures of this girl and they're both really attractive and she hasn't posted other than that. Just delete. And I'm astonished that guys fall for that.
I caught a catfish. I've told the story. She ended up on the show Catfish. The exact catfish ended up on the show Catfish that I caught. And I actually wrote her a message that said, listen, whenever you write your book about catfishing people, I want at least a page to say Pat McAfee knew I was a fucking catfish because I was so proud of me. I'm being serious when I say that. I was so damn proud of me when I caught it. But it happens. Now on Twitter, there's all these girls that are like, come on my tits. It's like that's their info. I'm like, yo, people are a little bit aggressive out here. Our friend, one guy that works for us in here, though, he legit finds like some happiness in the fact that the photos in the catfish photos are real people somewhere. And that's his like actual train of thought. That's his real thought. He's like, it helps me through the day to know that the girls in the catfish photo, although they're not the people running the account, they are actual humans. And that's a real person in this office that I've hired. That's a real person. That's a true thing that he has brought to the table. When I asked him one day, like, hey, what makes you happy? That was his answer. And it was fucking outrageous. I almost cried.
See, I think it would be a million times harder for you guys because you have achieved level of actual nationally known celebrities. So you've had actual, real, live, attractive women trying to get in touch with you. Like, I know as soon as I see someone who's like a 7.5 and above, okay, now I'm suspicious. So I've literally got 1,000 unfriended Facebook requests because 90% of them are guys, and if you're not like you
don't want to be friends with the guys, how about the boys?
So well, I just don't have enough room. They limit you to like how many people you can have, and I said yes to everybody early on. But if it's an attractive woman, I immediately just say, okay, what's this guy's game? And I don't know what the game is. I really don't know how it's profitable to just keep making these fake accounts.
So listen, the catfish that I caught that ended up on the Catfish show that I watched with Nev. The dude's name is Nev. He's catching them all with his brother, I guess. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. They caught all these people. It's a lot of people that are like overweight, never had any relationships in their life. So that's like their only connection to humans is these fake accounts through the internet. And it's like their only escape. It's a really sad thing. I actually felt bad that I sent the message to her because she was this very large, older lady who had no friends or anything like that. And I was like, I want a whole page about me just fucking blowing up your whole... Like, I felt bad. I didn't even know what that night was like for her. I felt so bad about it because it's like a wanting for attention, basically. That's kind of how it is. And I'm assuming that's what happened to Manti Te'o. That whole thing was just a wild situation.
But it doesn't matter. Manti took it so deep, though, where he knew he was lying, said she died, but he had never met this person because it wasn't a real person. That's why I don't get it. What? I still don't understand what happened.
Kelly.
You went... It doesn't matter. He never met this girl. He said she died. Oh, we were so close. It's my girlfriend. I'm going to these college football, the award circuit, and it was never a person. There was never anybody there. But you were giving this emotional, crazy, weird story, but it was someone that you never physically met, or even did this guy that was catfishing him even send a picture of a so-called girl?
Yes, there had to be some sort of facial recognition to the story. I wonder who the catfish lady is, though. Like, who the picture...
It's a guy that did it. What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the picture that was used. Jesus.
Oh.
Right.
The picture
Okay,
that
sorry, Pat. Oh, my bad, Pat.
Yeah,
sorry.
I
You
wonder.
jumped down my throat.
Well,
Good
excuse
job.
me. Act like I don't know every single detail of this whole story. I mean, but I wonder if the catfish picture person, like, knows that she could potentially, if she could potentially, like, Manti Te'o would fall in love with her. Like, if you know what I mean? Like,
right. They had phone conversations, right?
Well,
Her name was Lene Kukua. By the way.
There it is.
This is all 2008. Now, a good friend of mine from the early days of Barstool, when we had a message board, and I'll tell this story really quickly. She got so convincingly catfished by a dude who was part of that online community back when we were just like a Boston, newspaper website, that she was ready to go hop a plane to London to go see this guy, and then he ghosted her, and our web guy tracked the URL and found that he lived like 20 minutes outside of Boston and had a wife and kids or whatever. He was just a dude who set up this whole fake persona with full of details about how he lived in London. And like, this was all before I was involved in it, but like, this girl who's smart got completely just buffaloed.
This doesn't make any sense, though. I understand that people make poor decisions when it comes to choosing their mate, but it's very, very easy in 2017, almost 2018. All you need is one FaceTime call, one Skype session. Pat only does FaceTime. You ain't
catfishing me. You ain't catfishing me. Not you, AJ. You're not going to give me a fake little smiley face in a text. I want to know if you're genuinely happy.
That's what I'm saying. You should not, technically, because of technology, you should not be able to be catfished in 2017.
That's a great point. What's the old Reagan used to say to the Russians as an expression? It's trust but verify. Sure, I want to think the best of everybody. If you want to have a conversation with me, FaceTime. I get that. But I hate FaceTime, and I would just as soon delete.
Reagan said that too, right? Didn't he? Tear down that wall.
And he friggin' did. You know what, fellas, is a great way to meet women, by the way? All you single guys out there, look good. And we have a new sponsor who is going to be the person that's going to help you do that. This site, it's Indochino. These guys, I've been on their site. You want to dress your best. This is what you do. You don't have to go to a tailor. You take your own measurements. You go on their site. They have a very easy to follow instruction. It's a short video where this guy gets measured by a really hot blonde in glasses. If you don't have a hot blonde in glasses, pick the next best thing. You take a few measurements. They save your measurements. They send you perfectly tailored suits and shirts. Indochino is making it easy to get a suit made to your exact measurements and at a great price. You can choose from hundreds of top quality fabrics, customize all the details. Pat McAfee, I've ordered a new shirt to wear on stage.
Wow.
Right down to the monogram. You flip up the cuffs. Are you a cuffs up guy when you're on stage?
Nah.
Do it. Got the with the pattern underneath the cuffs, so I'm going to look kick-ass. I'm going to look like a true professional.
I like to wear my Indochino suit completely when I'm on a stage. That's why every photo of me on a stage is wearing an Indochino suit for sure. For sure, that's the case.
Pat's like Jerry Seinfeld.
What about these windows?
Where does the sock go in the dryer? I'd like to know. It like escapes stuck to the back of a sweater. They had the audacity to name a cereal Life. What's the deal? Indochino, in addition to being the sartorial splendor that is Pat McAfee, have also been featured in GQ, Forbes, and Fast Company. They are the largest made-to-measure menswear factory. Here's how it works. Visit showroom or shop online at Indochino.com. Pick your fabric, choose your customizations, submit your measurements, place your order, and wait for it to arrive in a few weeks. And after the new year, when you start to get back into shape, when you stop looking like Jerry Thornton, you start looking more like AJ Hawk, you can always adjust the measurements. So this week, our listeners get any premium Indochino suit for just $359 at Indochino.com when entering Laces Out at checkout. That's 50% off the regular price for made-to-measure premium suit, plus shipping is free. That's Indochino, Indochino.com. Promo code LACES for any premium suit for just $359 and free shipping. It's like stealing at that point.
Unbelievable. Believable how good Indochino is. You really dressing up though? Are you coming to do the New Year's show or what?
Yeah, I'm working the details out with the Irish Rose. Just saying you absolutely should do that. Like I had to put it by the committee. You know, I'm a married guy. She's all
You should
for
bring
it.
her with you. Is she coming with you?
We got a kid at home. Might be tough for her, but maybe
Bring them all. Bring all three of them.
Don't bring her kid.
Yeah.
All two of them. All two of them.
Don't.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be fine.
Is he
I
17?
totally trust. Not yet, but he's a pretty.
He's 16, Pat. He can hear your dick jokes and your stories about flying with Peyton Manning and sitting on beer bottles and stuff.
I think Pat will confirm this with me that death to live stand-up are kids and old people. Fair enough? You don't want either of them.
I'll tell you what, the first couple of times I did it, I think like I had a Bob and Tom audience and then also a Twitter audience. So I had like from 16 to 75. Do you remember those? Oh, there was these people that rolled. They had their bus take them from their senior citizen center. There was like 6 of them that rolled in. It was one dude with 5 women. It was out of control. He got VIP tickets. It was like this guy was living his best life in the senior citizen center, and they were sitting front fucking row, and it was just, they were 75 years old. It was such an awkward situation. I was like, it became a thing though. Like it became a thing. Like I'd explain about something, and then I'd have to explain to them what the fuck that meant, and it became a thing. So I respected it, but kids, I hate them. So don't bring kids to any of my fucking shit. I hate them. I don't like them.
Yeah, AJ, I can confirm everything he's saying is correct. Now, I don't want to sit here and after I just objected to having to explain everything to people my age and just throw a blanket statement out there that old people are horrible for comedy, but generally speaking, they are. There's some kind of weird Alzheimer's they all have that says, back in my day, no one ever swore. Like, no, old comics were filthy.
I don't have those
filthy.
people showing up at my shows, though. Like, the people showing up at my show know they're in for a party. Like, that senior citizen center, those 6, that one guy and his, I forget what he called them. He called them something of women. It was hilarious. It was like I fucking started crying, laughing. He was like, this is my, he said something of women. What was it? I think he said gaggle. I think he said, this is my gaggle of grandmas or something like that. And it was out of control. I like lost my shit. They were a fun group. So if you get a fun old people, I think it's a lot. They were a lot of fun. They couldn't hear a lot of the shit I was saying, but they were fucking letting loose in there. The guy was drinking. I mean, it was awesome. It was
you know what?
awesome.
I did a show last year at a over 55 community, and they were the balls. They were great.
That's what I'm saying.
You get those people who have to sit there and say, you know, everyone was clean in my day. No, Red Fox was filthy. Buddy Hackett was filthy.
Yeah,
like
Bill Cosby was clean, wasn't he?
Yeah, Bill Cosby, stand up. Yeah,
yeah, he was clean.
Perfect.
By the way,
and he knocked everybody that worked blue and wore their pants low and had to say cuss words. Yeah, Bill, good job, Bill.
AJ, can you believe that all that shit was out there, and it took Hannibal Buress doing like a 5-minute bit?
He didn't mean to. Hannibal didn't even want it out. If you listen to Hannibal, he's like, I wasn't trying. I was just telling a story basically, and all of a sudden it blew up. He's like, I figured everybody kind of knew about it.
Yep, it was public record. We all just sort of ignored it and let him make more sitcoms.
And he got off though. Is Bill going back to trial, or there? I know he's not exonerated, but he got a hung jury, I believe, in the first trial.
Yes.
Didn't he say he was blind or something? Bill Cosby.
Yeah, no, he was amazing. He started. He said he could barely see, and if you watch him walk into court, he's holding 2 guys are holding his arms. He's all frail. Like it's what they tell you in the movies to do when if you're charged with some crazy violent murder. Come in like in a wheelchair and blind and in 2 slings.
Suge Knight did that shit. He was like, I can walk, they won't let me.
Didn't work for Suge.
Poor Suge Knight. What a good guy. Everything I've ever heard about him is that he's just a real good guy.
Running dudes over in a pickup truck, back and forth.
Twice. Bang, bang, bang.
Oh, I didn't know I hit him. Oh, let me go back over him again.
Hey, Vanilla Ice, I want all the money from Ice Ice Baby. Are you going to do this while he's just holding him over a fucking hotel fucking window? Unbelievable, that guy. Good for him. He just lived, though. He just lived.
Sure, but I'll tell you, we saw a guy today who outlived all this stuff. Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, you remember the SI cover article about him, and it was like 15 pages long, and it was just him hanging with this posse of like retired cops and just running roughshod and like harassing pregnant waitresses and, you know, dragging underage girls into storerooms in the basement of bars or whatever. And he's back to being America's sweetheart again.
Hey, so is it that's a weird thing going on now. Because he served his time, he was suspended. It came out back in the day. Is that why he's okay now? Because when things like this come out about people that never got busted or no one really knew about it, their career is over. But if you served your time, then now you're okay. Is that how it works?
I guess in his case, like he got married, he did the I'm changing my ways kind of thing.
I'm saying in the public eye, even if you didn't commit a crime, I don't know, is sexual harassment considered a crime now? Can you be charged with sexual harassment?
Harassment.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Harassment.
Yeah. Harassment. Nothing to me. I don't think it is. I think it's a workplace thing, right? I mean, no, wait a minute. There are federal statutes against it, but it's like labor law. So that's kind of a weird gray area. You know what I mean? It's not like the FBI is going to come and lead you away in cuffs because you made comments about someone you were superior to in a company, you know?
So, but if Jerry Richardson, he's probably been doing this for a long time. Let's say in 2001, it was a known thing that, hey, he was dealing with some sexual harassment situations, but it became public back then. They worked through it. Bam, we're good. Now he's fine. But because of this all of a sudden coming to light and nobody knew about it, he's selling the team a day later and he's going to be out.
Yeah, it's more like, I think, a civil thing where you're leaving yourself wide open to lawsuits. And by the way, there's a guy that probably could have just held his ground and made it through this, because when the NFL announces that they're doing an investigation into this, and the guy in charge of the investigation just got $20 million a year for 5 years from a committee that included Jerry Richardson, like, I was looking forward to the phony investigation. You know, like, well, we didn't get it right.
They still do it? Won't they still do it?
I think now that he's selling the team, that's how you just get out of it.
He's making $20 million a year, bro. Doing what? Investigating what? Delaying shit? What? What's he doing? What does that guy do?
I got a giant fat contract to.
Like, why don't they figure out a way to make like the refs better? Like, why don't they invest $20 million a year into that? Why don't they invest money into like clearing up the rules or like giving back to communities? Why don't they invest money in like the commentators to make them entertaining and not sound like Ben Stein every fucking game? Why don't they invest $20 million a year in something that'll fucking do something, as opposed to a guy that's just going to leech and string along PR problems? This is just a nightmare of a situation. Why does the NFL do that? Why do they do
How
dumb
about you
shit?
just do – how about Roger, if part of his new deal was, the owners would never make him do this, but the general public, hey, I'm going to get $20 million a year. I'm going to actually have a couple legit press conferences where I'm going to give real answers. I'm going to talk to someone. Right. I'm going to take questions from the media that I make every single one of the head coaches do on a weekly basis. The star players have to do press conferences, but Roger Goodell technically never does a press conference.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the field right now is the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, boo, and the Boy Scouts. Oh, okay. Right. All right. And the New York Fire Department. Okay. That's the only time you see Roger in public. Only time.
Right. And when he does that thing at the Super Bowl every year, and it's the most condescending, insult to your intelligence in all of public media, where the first question is always to some like 9-year-old girl who says, someday I want to play in the NFL. Well, honey, you certainly will be able to. And then they go to the British guy who says, Roger, I'm from the old country. Can you explain to us why your sport is so popular back in the British Isles? Well, that's a great question. And meanwhile, there's 1,000 legit reporters with actual questions that people want to hear, but he puts this charade and thinks that he's fooling us. That's what goes up my ass sideways more than anything else that he does.
Shout out Pro Football Talk, by the way, asking the Barstool Sports question last year at Roger Goodell's annual press conference, same day of the week that I retired, by the way. Don't know which one was bigger. You tell me. Let's talk about it.
1A, 1B, although they did in fact say that the biggest story of Super Bowl week was Barstool being banned and him claiming that he didn't know who we are.
Yeah, we won. We won the Super Bowl.
I believe him. I believe that he doesn't know.
And now he's
Roger
going to have to
wouldn't
decide
lie.
whether he's.
Roger
whether
would
he's
not lie. Like, you think Roger would lie, Jerry?
If he says it, then I have to believe him, right? I believe it.
He's Roger Goodell.
And when he does do an interview, notice it's always going to be at like some broadcast partner. And I'm using air quotes because that's their favorite thing. Like, there was a great Sunday night game a few years ago where I flipped over to 60 Minutes only because they were doing a piece on him and concussions. And all he did the whole time was talk about how much money they're spending to look into concussions. Like, it was a complete knob job. Like, it's amazing that that I just hope the reporter who did the interview was wearing a dental dam.
Oh,
for the way he went down on him, and it was ferocious, and he lovingly cupped his man parts, and that's what Goodell will do.
I have no problem with that.
With what? A delicate man part?
Guys on guys, like dudes on dudes, whatever. I don't judge.
Me
like
neither.
Jerry does.
I'm cool with it. You do what you got to do.
Judging.
I only want it to be under like real love and affection and mutual respect.
Oh, you think it was a power move because it was like Roger exerting power? Okay.
Yeah, it was okay. You've got a contract to do our games, and you're going to get some Super Bowls. You need to do a puff piece on me so that I can cover my ass on concussion.
Doesn't your boy though? I've never heard the actual interviews, but doesn't every Monday night your boy Tom Brady does an interview with Jim Gray on Westwood? Is it Westwood One?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a sponsored thing.
Yeah, it's not a real interview. My buddy listens to it and he's like, oh well, yeah. It's the biggest puff piece alive. There's Tom's never given a real answer and Jim's never asked a real question.
Right, like he asked him about the Goodell contract. So Tom, what do you think about that? He's making a lot of money now. What do you think? And Brady said, well, hopefully he'll be able to take me out to dinner sometime. Right, and that. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Tom has all the
sit there and go. Right. He's not going to say what I want him to say, which is looking Roger Goodell in the eye is like staring into Satan's butthole. He's going to say, well, okay, that's right, Jim. And he's going to pass on the tough questions.
I have no problem with Tom doing it. Tom probably gets $3 million to do that once a week phoner with Jim Gray.
You think he gets $3 million? Where are these people getting all this money?
I'm just saying 16. So he probably does 16 of them, I'm guessing.
So much money.
I don't know if it's 3. I would take a guess that he gets at least $1 million to do a 15-minute call-in with Jim Gray once a week.
Yeah, like you're not saying $1 million a week. You're saying for the course of the season.
Yeah, for the year.
Because his time is friggin' valuable. And by the way, I just want to interject here. Found this out this week just from looking for stuff to blog about. Alejandro Villanueva gave an interview with the Pittsburgh Gazette. I don't know if you guys saw this. I had it on the stool on Friday, where now here's a guy who won a Bronze Star with a V for Valor for carrying 3 guys out of like a war zone, 3 wounded guys. He said he's heard from guys who are stationed in Afghanistan still who get Skype calls from Tom Brady.
Really?
Yep. He goes, guys who just don't know if they're going to live through the day or whatever, like he gets in touch with them. That's how the world found out about this, from this actual hero. And I don't want to in any way equate Brady taking the time to give calls to these guys to what Villanueva actually did. But to me, like, that's just another reason why I'm not faking it when I say how much I like and admire this guy, because he's doing that and saying nothing to anybody about it. It's up to these guys to let it be known to an NFL player who then mentioned it to a paper that he's doing something that's pretty fucking awesome.
Just want to let you know that we're getting some traction on me buying the Panthers. The Indy Star has run an article about it already, so I think the GoFundMe is going to be up over $1 billion soon. Get on board, buy your Cam Newton jerseys now, because the price will be going up when the next owner is in there. Just want to let you know that, Jerry. I'm sorry. But Alejandro Villanueva, incredible human being. Tom Brady, incredible human being. The NFL is filled with incredible guys. They're the majority, not the minority. Negativity hogs publicity. That's the truth. But Roger Goodell has somehow managed a way to make all the owners think that he is irreplaceable. And he's making what, 200 million or something like that with private jet for the rest of his life and all this shit? That guy?
Yep. Health insurance for his family for life. Because, how are you gonna afford health insurance on a measly $200 million?
Well, you can get Cobra. You remember when we had to get Cobra, AJ? You remember?
Yeah, during the lockout.
Yeah, man, we got Cobra. I want skydiving on that Cobra insurance. I don't know if it would have covered shit if I would have hit the ground. I did a lot of things on that Cobra insurance during the lockout. I had a good time. But why can't Roger Goodell go call up the snake? Get a little Cobra in his life. I don't know.
Because he convinced these guys that he's indispensable, which is crazy to me. Like, he could put like an inflatable doll in a suit behind his desk and then go to like Jamaica for 2 weeks, and I don't know that the league would be impacted in any way. Key question though, Pat, when you buy the Panthers, what role does AJ have on the team? Vice president, personnel?
He can get an interview. Coach? I mean, he can get an interview for sure. I mean, he can apply for an interview if he would like. I mean, that's something he can definitely do. I'm cool with that.
Well, what would you want to do? You could get a job in the NFL. What would you take?
I'll Skype in and be a consultant for Pat because I'm not leaving. I'm not moving to Carolina. I know Pat's not leaving either. So there's gonna be 2 teams in Indianapolis now when Pat owns the Panthers if they allow him to move the team, because I know Pat's not leaving because he's got hillbilly buddies out in the back barn having fake WWE matches and filming stuff and running around his property.
Thanks for bringing that up. We're actually moving the ring into the office this week. Big things happening here in the next 6 weeks. I got to prepare for a men's health interview. I got to get into shape. I got a guy that's fighting in the next Rough and Rowdy in this office. We got a lot of things going on. We're about to get into great shape. AJ?
You say you got an interview with Men's Health. Did they think that you were Steve Weatherford or something? What happened?
I take that as a compliment, by the way, if they do, because that guy he has legs for arms. It's real. He was
just on the cover of Men's Fitness, I think.
Yeah. So now I'm one man's health in Men's Health. Don't worry about it.
Are you on the cover? They can airbrush plenty of stuff. You know that.
Yeah, but I'm a health freak. We all know that. My big thing is health. Anywhere I go, anytime I get on a mic, I talk about how your body is a temple, and you need to take care of it as such, and you need to work out, play 60, maybe play 120 if you really want to get loose out there. Eat healthy, drink milk, all that shit. That's my day-to-day, AJ. So who knows, man? I don't need an airbrush, probably, with how healthy I live. I'm just a super healthy guy. This is one man's health. What do you want me to do about it?
So are you going to start like your own like fitness regimen that you're going to sell to the masses? Like the TB12 method, it's going to be the PM5? 5 was your number, right? PM5 method?
This is outrageous.
What?
This is absolutely outrageous.
Pat played football?
5. Number 5?
Okay.
You thought I would wear number 5.
I'm sorry. I'm bad about that shit. I forget your number. Okay. I'm sorry. I should know.
I mean,
that's right.
You do a lot of research. I know.
Listen, AJ regularly forgets my last name. Which the last I looked was my name.
Correct. I definitely know Pat's number, though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have an entire stand-up bit about it. I think it's only got like 1 million views or something like that. And it would be nice maybe if some co-hosts would watch that so they knew who they were talking to. That would feel great, wouldn't it? Jesus Christ.
You know, I started that sentence and I said, if you're not sure, don't finish that sentence. And I decided I would just do it anyway and probably... after 17 shows, I'd get a little bit of understanding. But no, I realized I cut you to the quick.
Yeah.
And there's no excuse for that. There's none. I'm not here to hurt you during the holiday season. I'm here to spread joy and love.
I appreciate that. And my number was 1 because I was number 1. If you're not first, you're last. It was the first number offered up to me in a day of drunken misery with my parents when I thought I was going to be a cowboy and they drafted somebody else. What numbers do you have available? 1, I'll take it. Give me it. Good. I want to go party. Let me tell you about something else that's number 1. AJ?
What do you think? I have no idea what this could be.
Fuego Box. Fuego Box is the number 1 gift of this holiday season. Everything that you're thinking of gifting has been done, and done again. It's bland. It's boring. It's old. But let me tell you something that is new and hot. It's Fuego Box. Fuego Box is an assortment of hot sauces that gets delivered monthly to the person's door. It is a legitimacy to your kitchen and to your palate that has never been founded before on this earth here. Fuego Box sends you 6 different hot sauces in a monthly box that is incredible. You can go from the average palate to the medium palate to the hot palate, which includes the hottest hot sauce on earth. If you think you have a great palate and your taste buds are tough, they grew up on Tough Street. The further you live down the road, the tougher you are, and they lived at the end of the block. You need to try the Fuego Box, hottest of hot boxes. That is an option at fuegobox.com/barstool. You get $10 off and a once-in-a-lifetime koozie that says, "Life's too short to eat shitty hot sauce." Ladies and gentlemen, make your kitchen look legit. Give a gift that's never been given before. Make your little foodie friend a happy one at fuegobox.com/barstool. Hot sauces for days, hot sauces for sleighs, hot sauces to be the greatest Christmas holiday gift in the history. fuegobox.com/barstool.
That's why you're number one. Like, number one in the uniform, number one on this podcast, number one when it comes to ad reads, because that was a thing of beauty, my friend.
I've been selling the shit out of them, and I'll tell you what, I had to make a video. I had to make a video for Fuego Box for my Instagram story. They wanted an IG story. They're like, "We want to swipe up IG story with you. It's part of the package." I said, "Sounds good." And I ain't never used fuegobox.com before, and this is my first time, and I had somebody else order it for me. And this box arrived, and I picked one of them out of there. And what was it called? Fiery Fool or something like that. Hottest hot sauce on earth. And I just dumped it on a taco that I made because I had no idea. I thought this was like, because the lower one and the middle one are like great tasting hot sauces. And then the hot one is like the, "Hey, are you a tough guy?" box. And I took the hottest one into the hottest hot sauce box, and I couldn't feel my face for a fucking hour, and I shit out flames the next 24 hours. It was a nightmare. So I was had by the hottest of hot because I thought that my palate was tough enough, and it just wasn't. But fuegobox.com/barstool, greatest hot sauces on earth. You don't have to make the decisions. Let the people who know hot sauces decide for you. Get the greatest hot sauces on earth, $10 off, and a Barstool koozie.
All right. And speaking of number ones and speaking of hot, by the way, that is an A+ transition that I just blew up by pointing out that it's an A+ transition. Playoff picture in the AFC is obviously it's Patriots, Steelers. Doesn't look like the Pats are going to get caught. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars. To put this in perspective, what they've done, they were the first team ever to have a top 5 draft pick 5 years in a row. A testament to how bad they've been. Now they're sitting here at 10-4, and if the season ended today, they'd be the number 3 seed. And Pittsburgh will probably, if everything goes according to chalk, have to go through them to get to the Super Bowl. And Jacksonville went friggin' apeshit today. Are they good? I know Houston's not great, but 45-7 is 45-7.
Pittsburgh would love to play Jacksonville in the playoffs. What do you think, Jerry? I'm not saying it's great that they're making the playoffs, but if that's you have to go through. So we're saying they're not going to have to play in Jacksonville, will they?
No, they'll have home field, but that's the path is going to have to
either way
beat a team that I think is far and away the best defense in football right now.
Jacksonville is going to be a tough team to beat. They didn't even have Leonard Fournette today. And they just fucking rolled, bro. They were 11.5-point favorites or something like that. And I took them as a lock, and then it went up or something whenever Leonard Fournette was. That team is really, really, really fucking good. And they're built for the playoffs. They're built for like cold weather games if they have to. They're a team that runs the ball and stops the ball on defense. I mean, it's a fucking team that's built for success. What if the Jacksonville Jaguars, Saxonville, and Duval, Shad Khan's pool paradise is a chance to win? What if they have a fucking chance to win it all? Have you, like Nick Foles, what is Foles going to lead the Philadelphia Eagles to the promised land? What's Or, I mean, who's good? The Jacksonville Jaguars, the Patriots, I guess, or they're going to have to battle with the Patriots. The Steelers are going to have to get through them, but the Patriots already struggled with Jacksonville, right? Are they? No. They could struggle with Jacksonville, though.
Right. It's, again, just because that defense is so elite. Now, again, everything I'm about to tell you, I say through the filter of they were playing Houston, who's probably mailing it in, but their advantage in passing yards, 326 to 99. Rushing yards, 138 to 87. Blake Bortles, 326 yards and 3 touchdowns. And, raise your hand if you had money on Keelan Cole with 186 yards today. I mean, I don't know that I'm buying him, AJ, but the fact that we saw Denver a couple of years ago with an elite defense carry go to the Super Bowl with the fettered corpse of Peyton Manning tied to their back, and they were able to win just on the basis of being able to stop people.
No, you're right. I don't know if I'm definitely not sold on them going to the Super Bowl. I don't think that they beat the Steelers or the Patriots in the playoffs. I just don't. I can't imagine. Then they've officially arrived. If they beat one of those teams, I don't know, man. Their defense.
That defense is so good. That defense is so good.
Calais Campbell has 12 and a half sacks. He is obviously one of the largest humans alive.
Dude, he's an avatar. He's a real-life avatar. Calais Campbell is a real-life avatar. I've partied with him a few times. That dude is an absolute fucking monster of a man. Just a monster. That defense is humming. Jalen Ramsey, I guess, tries to piss everybody off and irritates everybody and shuts that team is legit, and they run the rock, which is a big deal because you'll keep the ball out of Tom Brady's hands. And I'm telling you, what if I just said Jacksonville's my favorite? What if I just said that? Did I say that?
Say it. Do it. Yeah, you did.
It's America, man. Brave men have fought and died for your right to like anybody you like, but are you saying your emotional favorite, or are you saying if you were picking a team right now, they'd be your choice?
Well, thanks to the troops for making this possible. I'm picking the Jacksonville Jaguars to win the Super Bowl this year. How do I bet that? Can I bet that? Is there a bet that I can place?
Sure, you can right now. Go online.
Hell yeah.
I would like to bet the Jacksonville Jaguars win the Super Bowl. That's such a long way away, though. Like, I'm not going to get paid off on this in so long.
What are you talking about?
Sure.
People bet that preseason. Didn't the year the Ravens won the Super Bowl, I think Phil Mickelson won like $3 or $4 million on them.
By the way, I heard Phil Mickelson doesn't pick up a golf club unless there's $1 million on the line. Something like that. Like, you're not gambling unless you're gambling $1 million with him. That dude just loves to fucking move money. The consummate number 2, him and Powerade are battling for the best number 2 in the history of Earth. But goddamn, that guy definitely bets a lot. I love the way he gets out there and bets the shit out of his life.
Oh, you know what? And he golfs the way he lives. Like, how many times have you seen them say, well, the smart play is going to be to just lay up that pond in the front, and he'll pull out a friggin' 3-wood and rip it to the front of the green. I love watching him play. I can't live my life the way he does. I can't just throw, caution of the wind the way he does. And it's cost him God knows how many majors, but it's probably won him twice as many as it cost him.
Well, I don't know about any of that, but I do know that Tin Cup, it got old. Just fucking go around the water, After we're fucking
right.
10 shots in, just go around, dude. We ain't got time.
All right, so here's your AFC playoff picture. I mentioned New England, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Kansas City. The only surprise there is that they're 4th right now because they look like, the 85 Bears in the first month. And they're lucky they're in a shit division. But then Tennessee, and then right now in the second wild card spot as we speak, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are ready to break I think it's 19 years now, the longest drought in North American sports without making it to the playoffs. And I need that. I need the Bills in the playoffs. I need Bills Mafia to be rewarded for another fantastic season.
They fucking showed up today, didn't they? There was fires in the parking lot. There was a dude that almost fucking was paralyzed coming off the top of an RV and missed a table. Bills Mafia showed up today. Those motherfuckers are loyal. I ain't ever, just like that lady that jumped on the field when I think it was a Lions player, when he got hurt and his wife charged the field, jumped over the thing, did a little whoop-de-whoop to the security, and met him at the medical tent. Did you hear about that, AJ? The best thing ever. Loyal last night.
Yeah, I mean, on Saturday? No, I didn't see that. I saw there's a college kid whose sister came out and jumped on somebody.
See, I like that type of stuff. I don't know if there's anybody in my life. My lady would definitely meet me at that medical tent, by the way. Probably, I don't know if she'd make it worse or better, but she would definitely do that. The loyalty out of that lady, the hop and meet her man at the medical tent was incredible to me. Very hilarious. And then they show her getting escorted out by cops. It's like, yep, this is the guy's wife. She will never be allowed back on the premises. See you later. You hurt your ankle. She's gone forever. It's incredible. It's incredible. Loyalty. I like a good loyalty story. Sorry about that, Joe.
Right. And imagine if, it's they're going to have to win a game. A lot of shit's going to have to fall into place for them to do it. But if we could get a Bills home playoff game, it would be the greatest thing of all time. Because as it is, like every time they have a home game, I spend from the time I wake up till 1 o'clock just on the Laces Out Twitter feed watching videos of these fabulous people. Last week, a guy dove into a hot grill.
Yeah.
The Weber kettle, coals going, dove right into it. The guy you mentioned who missed the table went head first off the RV.
Today. That happened today. They've got some misses. They got some hits, though, too. I mean, they take care of some tables up there. At a rate, that's a good business to get into, by the way. If the Bills are going to make the playoffs and potentially have a home game, go up to Buffalo and start a table company. And just for a month. It's a little pop-up. It's like one of them costume stores during Halloween. Just a quick little table setup, sell out, and then watch them go to work on the weekends. Because Bills Mafia is incredible. I also want to say the Chiefs... Are the Chiefs back? Robbie Gold. Shout out Robbie Gold. 6 for 6 with a game winner today over the Titans. Jimmy Garoppolo still fucking undefeated. That Tom Brady stable up there is an incredible one. Jacoby Brissett, I still think is going to be a really good football player. But I think the Chiefs might be back. Tyreek Hill's throwing up the peace sign. They're scoring touchdowns. Travis Kelce's wearing some big Claire earrings right there on national TV. I mean, I like what he's doing. I think the Chiefs might be back too, but nobody's going to be able to beat the Saxonville Jaguars. That's what I'm saying. I don't even think I have a good following in Jacksonville. Like the business move would be to pick another city. I don't even think I got a following, but I think they're going to win. I like making good choices. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it should be pointed out that Jimmy G had 2 fourth quarter comebacks in this one.
300 yards too. He passed for 300 yards today, at least. I don't know about last week, but he's been balling, dude.
And he's about to get paid.
So will he get? What will they do? Will they give him a long-term deal, franchise? Where's he at in his contract situation?
I think they automatically press the button on the franchise thing to leverage the fact that they'll get a long-term deal with him. But he doesn't exactly seem miserable out there. I mean, he goes to this god-awful team that's going nowhere. And like Pat said, he's 3-0 as a starter, and he's already being hero worshipped out there. It's hardly the worst place in the world to have to spend a football career. Like if I'm him,
I mean, you're only paying like 60% taxes or something like that, maybe 70% taxes at the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, not the greatest place either, but San Francisco is an incredible town. A lot of history in that football team too. If Jimmy G can turn them around, you're talking about folklore legend forever.
And John Lynch, obviously is ready to bet his future on him as opposed to going to some other franchise where you got to worry about this and that. Although maybe, and I've heard this from a guy who knows a guy on the inside, that when he was still with the Patriots, that Tom Coughlin was making it clear he would do whatever it took to get Garoppolo. I know I just
Saxonville
sat there. I know I just sat there and went down on Blake Bortles, but Coughlin could easily just cut ties with him and go hard after Garoppolo. All I know is he might be the highest paid quarterback in football start next year just because there's a market for him.
I'm back off the Jacksonville Jaguars, by the way. I just remembered, I just thought about everything.
What happened?
What was this epiphany you had?
Well, I mean, they were just talking a couple weeks ago about potentially getting Eli Manning to start next year because that's how bad they thought Blake Bortles was doing. Eli Manning, I don't know. Did they win today? They might have won today. Did they win today? They were close. I know it was close. They
got beat 34-29.
They were playing good football though today. I saw Eli Manning throw like a fade route that was right in the hands. It was like, okay, Eli's back, But then I just saw everything else Eli had done for a long time, and they're like, yeah, they want to get Blake out of there, get Eli in there. I'm like, wait a minute. If that's what was happening just a couple weeks ago, I don't know, man, about these. I'm in a bad place. I'm torn. Maybe next week I'll lock in on a team, but I just thought about potentially a Blake Bortles situation happening where he throws 7 interceptions out of nowhere in a playoff game, which could happen. With that release that he goes from his knees all the way around. All the way around.
What happened is Philly went into New Jersey and won 34-29. Nick Foles had 4 touchdowns. Now
he's back.
I'm going to mitigate that somewhat in that he was given a lot of short fields. Like Manning was throwing some bad picks, had batted balls or whatever. And the Eagles had they had a block punt,
3 block kicks. 3 block kicks today. That is a
field goal and an extra point.
That is a full-on terrorist attack on the brand. 3 block kicks in one goddamn game. I don't think I've seen 3 block kicks in 8 years. 3 block kicks in one game. That special teams coach on Monday is going to have a rough one. Well, who didn't block? Well, it seems like fucking everybody. Now that's a quick way to lose a game too. You block 1 kick, normally you're going to win a game. You block 2 kicks, it's like guaranteed. You block 3 motherfucking kicks in one game. I mean, that's 100% game-winning ratio. I could imagine. I bet they have to be. That has to be 100% game winner. And it's surprising it was that close. It's amazing it was that close.
That has to be the scariest part for Philly fans and people in Philly that the coaches, front office. We blocked 3 kicks and we still almost got beat by the 2-12 New York Giants.
Yeah. That's true, though. That has to be a real moment. I saw a lot of my Philly friends on the social media saying, like, Big Dick Nick is back. You know what I mean? I think that's his cute little nickname. But I think that team is good. I think we underestimated how good the team was, but I don't know about going forward. I mean, that Carson Wentz blow is such a tough shot to the entire city of Philly. I mean, what happened with Rocky and then the fucking Philadelphia Flyers haven't won a Stanley Cup in, I think, 47 years.
Wait, what happened with Rocky other than greatness?
Oh, he's just a fake character. It's not real. I mean, that's just a fake character. It's like, I mean, that's like the best thing to come out of there other than a cheesesteak. And then it's just...
No, the one dude, Wahlberg played the walk-on receiver.
Vince Papale.
Invincible.
Vince Papale.
Was the real Vince Papale 5'3.5"?
Nah, he never scored a touchdown either because them rules aren't right. But he probably was a little Mark Wahlberg size, wasn't he? A little small fry.
Would the real Vince have left with his favorite team and best friend down by 25 points? Probably not. I think the real Vince would have stayed in the stadium and not hid behind, oh, my kid is sick.
Come on now. I just saw Wahlberg posting something, him hitting some mitts as a boxing guy in his hotel room with a bunch of supplements because he has a supplement company, I guess. Pat, right there. Maybe you can use this for your
I'm already working a deal with another supplement company. Have some respect, please.
That's stupid.
Have some respect, please. Mark Wahlberg supplements do not work. He's not getting taller. He will not get younger. There's nothing better happening for Mark Wahlberg. He's still incredibly attractive, successful, and will be in every single Boston movie in the history now that Matt Damon has stuck his entire foot into his fucking mouth. But I believe that the supplements I will be taking are much better than what Mark Wahlberg's are if we're going to competition.
What did Matt Damon say?
He said something bad. I don't know. He was just getting attacked today. I just heard him getting attacked today. I guess he said something about he was trying to minimize what has happened in Hollywood about everything, and then he got.
He said there should be different levels.
Yeah.
Like Harvey Weinstein is not the same guy as what is it? Charlie Matthews, Jerry, who just got caught.
Chris.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Chris.
Charlie Murphy is who you're talking about.
My bad. R.I.P. Charlie Murphy.
R.I.P.
But you know what?
What had 5 fingers?
Who produced all of friggin' Matt Damon's biggest movies, the movies that made him what he is? It was Harvey Weinstein. So he and Affleck have tried to do that. We really care about women, but this guy turned us into millionaires. I have Oscars on my shelf because of this guy, and I don't know. I think you just, at this point, you pile on. Whatever. Those Oscars aren't going to go away because you're like disloyal to this guy.
But the thing is, Weinstein's out of the game. He's not getting back into the filmmaking game. So it doesn't matter. It's not like you have to watch what you say if you're an actor because you want to be in certain movies. No, the Weinstein, the whole company is dissolving, being sold, whatever it is. So Harvey's not coming back. So you don't have to worry about that. I don't know what Matt Damon said. I didn't read exactly what he said, but I know he's trying to say there's levels of whatever misconduct. Just not a great idea right now.
Not good.
Yeah, and I feel like he's just like a good guy. You never know. You never know with celebrities. Like I don't try to judge, but if you told me that Matt Damon is a dick, I would be surprised.
All right,
that.
I'll say 3 names that are celebrities. You give me your first reaction on whether or not they're an asshole or not.
Okay.
Okay? Pee Wee Herman.
Good guy.
I would say not an asshole.
Okay, all right.
I mean, for instance, he was jacking it in
Yeah.
a porn theater, which is why they built porn theaters. Like, who was the
Listen,
person
I just said
that
one
had to
word.
talk to the manager about that?
Yeah,
You know,
I
it
just
was
saw
insane
Pee-wee-
that he lost his career.
I just saw Pee Wee Herman beating his dick. That somebody had to say that to somebody to get something to
Right.
happen. I mean, that happened. All right, number 2 person. Ben Affleck.
I'd say got some dick in him. Yeah, he's a bit of a dick, bit of an a-hole.
Okay, Troy Polamalu.
My gut tells me that he's a good guy,
Asshole.
even though he almost killed you.
You mean asshole. He's an asshole.
Is he?
I don't know. You tell me. If a guy takes away somebody's dream, is that a good person or a bad person? You tell me. I don't know. He can live his life 99.9% amazing, but in my particular run-ins with Troy Polamalu, asshole. Just take a dream.
Because he was in the 5 hole where you were gonna. I'm not the 5. I meant the B gap. Excuse me. I
Yeah,
was
the
thinking-
B hole. He meant the B hole. Yeah.
No, I was thinking the other side of the ball. And on
going.
offense,
Keep
on
going,
offense,
Jared.
it's the.
He
it's
was
the-
in the
it's
strike zone. Yeah. Exactly.
Keep going, Jerry.
Yeah, he was
No,
in the
all
strike
right,
zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was coaching,
He was
there
on
that,
deck.
That was the right side were the odd numbers. It was, the 1 hole, the 3 hole, the 5 hole. That's how I was thinking. Okay, but in your case, you're on the punt team. It's a gap. I misspoke.
Yeah,
I apologize with all my heart.
It's a field goal. It's a field goal.
But he tried to take his goal got in the way of your goal. That's the problem, right?
No,
That-
his
that-
head and shoulders that he wore that night was opposite what he normally wears, and the wind was blowing in a non-way that it normally does, so he lined up in a place that he never lines up in. In that particular place just so happened to be what we like to call a dream suck hole for my life, and that's what Troy Palmer. That's why I just like play quick word association with. That was word association with Jerry Thornton. Thank you.
What was the Super Bowl that you went to where you beat the Patriots in the AFC Championship game? Like, is everyone in New England supposed to hate the national treasure that is Pat McAfee because you won that championship game? No.
I didn't
just
do it.
gotta-
I don't think I really did anything in that game. I think if you check the record books, I don't think I really did much. So I didn't really do anything. So I don't think that. But Troy Polamalu is the direct reason why I can't tell an incredible stand-up story about doing, who knows, a magic trick as a celebration? Who knows? Something like that in my hometown.
What would you have done? Did you? No, you couldn't have done it then. It was outlawed, right?
Vinatieri would have been kicking a 60-yard field goal, for sure. I mean, there would have been 15-yard penalties coming out from everywhere. I mean, act like you've been there before. I haven't, so suck a dick. How about that, real quick?
Quick shout, by the way, to the Philadelphia Eagles for one of my favorite celebrations of the year. Wish I could remember which guy did it, but spun the ball and then sat down and started warming his hands by the ball while 2 teammates joined him.
You know who
they were
made-
sitting around a campfire. It was brilliant execution, inspired idea. I'm liking this. I don't need celebrations, but
That's
I'm
a
liking
pretty
it.
old idea. I don't think that's a very new, modern idea. I think people have been doing it a long time. I think what made it amazing, though, was Ajayi sliding in at the end. Sliding in at the end to kind of get the last ashes or the last couple crisps of flame because the ball was about to die down. I respect that a lot. How's your ball spin, AJ? You got a good ball spin?
On the ground like that, you mean?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know. No, yeah, I can do it, actually. Sure, I could. I can spin. Like I said, I grew up doing the Pistol Pete videos. I can spin the basketball on all my fingers back and forth, left, right, all that stuff.
But it's a different skill set, isn't it?
Wow.
I mean, to
100%
actually.
completely different. Yeah.
Okay.
Different ball, Jerry. Basketball is completely round.
But I'm
Football's
saying,
kinda
like-
oblong.
But you brought it up as if somehow, well, I could spin it like Pistol Pete, therefore I could spin a football on the ground.
I'm sure I could. My wrist cannot create enough torque now. I have about
Mighty
6
Ducks. Twist the
I have about-
stick. Twist
No, I think I
the
have about
stick.
6 working fingers right now, so it's kind of hard to.
Who was
with
that?
like
Adam
Who, the
Banks.
the cake eater.
You got to twist the stick. Tell me if you're healthy enough. And he, couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. He had to coach. You remember? He had to coach. He had to be a leader.
Hey, you know my brother-in-law told me he played for the LA.
Who's your
Kings
brother-in-law?
for a
Who's your
while.
brother-in-law? Who's your brother-in-law?
Another one of my brother-in-laws. He played for the LA Kings, and he said they had like a team a team party out at some club or some bar in LA, and he was like, I honestly felt so bad, but the guy working one of the bars, like on this rooftop place, was Adam Banks, the cake eater.
No way.
And he said, and of course, they're hockey guys. They all love Mighty Ducks. And he was thinking, he told me, he said, can you imagine being Adam Banks and all of a sudden you see the LA Kings walk into the place that you're working as a bartender? How brutal would that be?
Who's that guy? The Philadelphia guy that was the garbage man who became the kicker? Who? Tony Danza? That'd be like me walking into a bar with Tony Danza there, the garbage kicker, the guy, and me just ordering him around. Hey, I want 100 shots from me and my friends here. I'm sorry. That's an interesting moment there for the LA Kings and the Adam Banks character. He didn't get picked up after that in anything, huh? You would think Saved by the Bell would maybe move him in. He was a pretty good little character, that guy. I mean, I think
he might be acting.
Goldberg stole the show for sure. I mean, and then the Bash Brothers were something special.
One kid, Charlie, he acted in a bunch of stuff. He was in the movie with Tom Cruise's old wife.
Oh, wow.
What is that?
Oh, God, what is her name? Yeah.
Summer show.
You should text her. Do you text Tom Cruise, AJ? You got Tom Cruise's number?
Man, what an interesting guy that he is. I would love to have a conversation and just see everything you hear about him. He's just so juiced and so engaged and just locked in with eye contact. I would love to have a conversation with Tom.
I got a house next to where TC lives, by the way. It's Tom Cruise.
Where?
I don't know. It's right near Kanye, too. Kanye lives there, too.
Ah.
Yeah, he's got a house right by where TC lives. It's Tom Cruise.
See,
Blame it.
Who would you rather talk to, Kanye or Tom Cruise?
Wow. That's a really good question. I don't know.
Who would you rather go to?
Have I ever been that speechless in my life? I don't think so. That is too.
I thought it froze. I really did. No joke. I've never heard you not have a response for something.
I think Kanye. I think I'd rather talk to Kanye.
Why?
Because I think I could get more out of Kanye than I could get out of Tom Cruise.
Please, come on now.
I think I could get some hilarious quotes out of Kanye. I don't think I could get that many incredible. I think Tom Cruise is zippered and tied up, locked up. I mean, I think he's like super straight to the camera. I mean, he jumped on couches about how much he was in love with a lady who knows he was stalking for a while. I mean, I think he plays this character. I think Kanye is 100% okay, like letting loose, like, why, Sway? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he loses his shit in interviews, and I think I could get some great shit out of him. Tom Cruise, I don't think I could get.
Tom Cruise, he's the most unique guy where I'm so confused. I just want to know what goes through his brain. He doesn't age, first off. He's in his early to mid-50s. Looks like he did when he was playing Maverick in Top Gun in 84, 88, whenever that movie came out. And I'm so confused by everything that he does.
See, all his weirdness to me is mitigated a lot by the shit he does in movies, like that he does his own stunts in those like Mission Impossible movies. That one where he's walking outside the skyscraper in Dubai was actually him on a rope walking outside, like walking down the glass of this thing. And then the most recent MI movie where he was on the outside of the plane, that's not CGI. He had them strap him to the outside of a plane. Like, I want to.
That'd be pretty cool, though. I mean, let's talk about how cool that would be. That would be very cool. Like, I wish I would get opportunities. Hey, Pat, would you like to walk down a skyscraper in Dubai? Yeah, I would like to do that.
You could probably be Tom's body double and be his stuntman.
6'1", 235 pounds, about to get on a very healthy regimen that I always am on, by the way. I'm always on this very healthy regimen. It's not just I'm a healthy guy. You think I could be Tom? I don't think Tom does stunt doubles. He's like Jackie Chan. Tom Cruise and Jackie Chan.
I think he's on IR right now. They had to shut down a movie because he broke something jumping off a building.
His foot, yeah, but he finished the scene. Remember that. He finished the scene.
Don't worry. As long as they cover your calves up, you're fine because your calves are bigger than his quads. You'll be fine.
I got good calves. I'll tell you what. That's because I'm an explosive motherfucker. You know, I used to be able to jump out of pools and shit, and that's why it's one men's health. It's one man's health. That's what it's all about. You want calves like these? Read Men's Health about one man's health here in about 6 weeks, I think.
Whatever you put in there for a regiment, I'm going to follow it to the letter. Like I want to take a deep dive into what makes Pat McAfee
so healthy.
Jerry,
a health god. I will do it.
Have you ever lifted weights, Jerry?
Yeah, I do the gym 5 days a week.
With all due respect. I mean, but do you do cardio or do you do resistance training?
I do weights and the machines like the Nautilus and whatever, and I'll do the I'll do cardio. I'll do the elliptical and I'll do the treadmill, but I'm just trying to maintain. I mean, I know I sit on my ass all day long.
Take your shirt off, Jerry. Let us see what you're working with.
I think that's harassment. You don't have to do that, Jerry. I want to let you know that
we don't want to. I will just show you the Barstool Patriot shirt. There's one like it in the world. Some dude made this for me. Did
you lift when you were young? I always wondered that. So you say you're 54. Did you lift like in high school?
Nah, I've gone through periods where I would lift a little bit, but I was never like
eat a little iron. Yeah, you've gone through periods.
Like I've never been the guy with the 5-gallon bottle of powder and and doing the shakes and getting on the juice or whatever.
No, you look good. I wasn't trying to disrespect you about the lifting thing. You look good. You're 54. I would imagine if we went back to your 20, 30-year reunion from high school, I'd say, Jerry, who are all these old guys? You say, these are my buddies. These are who I graduated with. I just look great.
Yeah.
I was talking to some moms from town the other day. I was having beers with some of the neighbors, and they had a great theory that I subscribe to, that men age older than women because we don't dye our hair, but then men plateau, and then women all of a sudden pass them. So like you're the same age, but all of a sudden women your age look a lot better than you do, and then you hit a point where you stay the same, and then they just wither right in front of your eyes. I like that theory.
You're smart for not dyeing your hair. A lot of guys do dye it, and then eventually they get sick of it and say, I'm not doing this anymore, man. It's too much work. And then they show up gray one day, and everyone's confused.
You can do two things as a man with your hair. You can cut it, you can shave it off. That's it. Anything else you do, trying to hide it, trying to do the comb over thing, dyeing it is just it's a failure from the beginning. Everybody is making fun of you when you try all these tricks with your do.
I don't think so.
Mine is white. My dad's was pure white, and he was all man.
What if you dye your mustache?
Don't be racist. Let's not get racist now.
Well, pure white is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's it. My dad, I'm just talking about hair color. I know I'm from Boston.
By the way, I saw that Boston article. I saw that Boston article that you guys put out up there, the Boston Globe. Some stats about the race relations in Boston were put out on full display just a few days ago. What a wild place that is, Boston. Wild.
They literally sent reporters down to different areas and had them count the different ethnicities of people walking by. And that was their scientific survey. They sat out to find out if we're a racist city, and then shockingly decided, yeah, we are. And here's the thing. I don't fight it anymore. Sure. Yep, that's us. But did you see the thing I posted the other day on the stool that Jingle Bells is a racist song?
I heard about that, by the way.
It was written in Boston 160 years ago, and it was meant to make fun of black people. That's what Jingle Bells is about. A Boston University professor came out with that one. And you know what? I don't fight it. I go, okay, that's it. No more Jingle Bells. We can't sing that. We can't do anything that mentions
I don't think I knew
the
their
baby
name.
Jesus or the wise men or Santa Claus, and you can't mention the word Christmas. So we're pretty much down now to Winter Wonderland. That's it. Next year's Christmas Christmas concert is going to be 2.5 minutes long. Okay, everybody, that's all we can do without triggering somebody.
Well,
Let's all go home.
You got Dasher and Dancer and Comet and Cupid.
Yeah, but it's got Santa in it. You can't do that. Nope, no Rudolph because it mentioned Santa. So that's going to affect.
Why?
Wait, what happened?
Santa's
what did I
racist?
miss?
I don't know. This is just these are the rules now.
Wait, what did Santa do?
What did
he
Santa
do?
do?
He's a symbol of Christmas, and if you're not a Christian, then that's offensive to you.
Tim Allen is a sign of happiness. That's what it is for all the boys and girls across the world. Tim Allen, Santa Claus. I didn't know Tim Allen was. I didn't know Santa Claus. Tim Allen's my Santa Claus, just like Christian Bale's my Batman. I didn't know that Santa Claus was something that we can't have anymore. I didn't know that. I'm not even religious. I got a lot of questions, but I didn't know that Santa Claus was gone. The big fat man.
He's St. Nicholas. He's a Christian symbol. It's just that's it. And I'm sorry that everything, my existence and my favorite holiday and the city I grew up in is offensive to everybody. So I apologize. Blanket apology There's a war on Christmas, man.
Jerry, you're
Starbucks won't write. They write Happy Holidays on the cups. I'm so mad. I actually don't care. I'm fine.
Jerry, you are Megyn Kelly. When didn't she have a legit, real discussion saying that Santa Claus is white?
What happened?
Might have.
On air, she had like an argument with somebody about Santa Claus being white.
Oh my God! Why would you do that?
Years ago. This is years ago before she became a dancing, fun, supposedly different Megyn Kelly.
The most overpaid person in television whose ratings are the lowest that show has ever had. Like her ratings crater while she's making more than anybody on TV. And there's why. Because she sits there and has arguments about Santa. No.
Give Pat that job. Pat needs that gig.
Hey, man, now we're talking. I like what we're doing.
Can you do that in this podcast and own a football franchise?
I'll tell you what, I just renegotiated my contract with Barstool, and I'm in a real good spot. I like everything we're doing. I got my friends all jobs. We're in a good spot, so it's going to be hard to get me away from the stool. But if they want to talk, about a potential ratings boost, which is what I would definitely be. I mean, maybe me and Barstool could come to an agreement with potentially NBC and let them know, like, hey, you're going to have to pay a little bit. You're going to have to pay a little bit. Megyn Kelly money, Matt Lauer money, maybe. You know what I mean? And
Matt Lauer's office.
I don't want the button. Leave the button.
Come on. You don't want a rape lock on your door? What do you
Well, I mean, it's all in the wording. Because when I first heard about it, I thought it was a great idea. Because I would love to be able to just shut my door without having to get up from my desk. That'd be great. But then whenever it gets branded as this fucking rape lock, I mean, Matt Lauer fucked that up. I mean, he's a bad person. But that button, I don't think did anything wrong.
All right.
It's not the arrow. Questions. It was the Native American. Remember that.
Now, in the time we have, because we don't want to do another 4-hour extravaganza here, but I want to get into some of the NFC teams where that's at. But about Christmas, are you guys huge Christmas guys? Because I'm a maniac about it. I watched one of my all-time favorite movies, holiday or otherwise, It's a Wonderful Life, the other day. Once again, I cried like I've been pepper sprayed. I didn't intend to watch it. I got totally Shawshanked by it. I can't turn that off. It's hokey and it's
Which one is that? Is that the Tiny Tim?
That's Jimmy Stewart. He basically spends his whole life sacrificing himself for this shitty little town that he wants to get out of. And yet you really haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life.
No chance.
It's from like 1930, isn't it?
No chance.
It's like 1946. But
it's black and white, though,
is there sound?
It's black and white.
Black and white? You want me to watch
a black and white version?
You want me to watch a black and white film?
Absolutely. And don't watch the colorized version. Bro. Don't.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow, Boston.
Boston. Doing yourself a disservice.
Wow.
Once again, making it racial.
Wow, Boston.
I literally can't mention the words black or white without it.
Oh, it was the colorized one that you threw in there at the end. I believe.
Yeah, no one uses that term anymore, Jerry.
What do you refer to it when they take a film that was done in shades of gray and then they
a waste of money
put it into color?
It's called a waste of money.
The term is colorizing.
It's on a movie that
was meant
nobody
to be
watches
in the past.
under the age of 68 years old.
All right, give me your. You mentioned the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Give me your best Christmas movies then, if not that.
Grinch. All right, let's just talk about it. Jim Carrey absolutely destroys that movie. I mean, that's an incredible movie. We can go Santa Claus 1's good, 2 not so good, 3 great. Let's talk about it. Then you got a Christmas Story, which is force-fed down everybody's fucking life every single year, which I averagely like, but I think I hate the fact that they hustle it into my life every year. But I think the Santa Claus and the Grinch are the two that deserve the most credit because by far the best ones.
AJ?
I mean, Christmas Vacation's one.
Yep.
And
not just a great Christmas comedy,
a
great comedy, period.
Yeah. And then, I like the Santa Claus. We've already watched it 2 or 3 times here with my kids. Love it. After that, I like the Grinch as well. Is fine. I wouldn't watch it without my kids. But I would watch.
When he's just throwing the mail down there.
He's amazing. I mean, he's unbelievable. Jim Carrey, he was in character. He lived as the Grinch for 9 months during filming too.
I would
imagine what it was like being
Jim
wrapped up inside that 6 pounds of makeup on his face.
He had to,
or whatever.
I bet he had to have 4 or 5 hours of makeup every morning.
Imagine being around Jim Carrey when he's these fucking things. Like somebody's just got to look at him and be like,
ever. Can you imagine being around Jim Carrey ever?
I want an interview with Jim Carrey. Bad. But
hey, watch him on Norm. He went on Norm Macdonald's podcast, and you can watch a video of it. You should watch it. Jim Carrey was.
It's a comedy podcast.
He's unique individual.
And Norm is the best. I love Norm. His TV shows have failed because he's too funny for TV. He's too weird. He's too offbeat. Remember when he did the ESPYs and he's like, wow, there's I think it was Desmond Howard. It's like, Desmond Howard in the crowd. You want a Heisman Trophy, and you win that's yours for life. No one will ever be able to take it away from you. Unless you murder your wife and a friend of hers. And the crowd just didn't know what to do. They're just like groaning, like, come on, that's genius. And, all right, genius comedy, Christmas movie of recent vintage that had no business being good, but it's an instant classic, and that's Elf.
Yeah.
With Will Ferrell. Should have been dumb. I saw the trailer for it. This is going to be the most annoying money grab in the world, and I can't get through a season without watching it.
My girl loves it. My lady absolutely loves that movie. And I feel like everybody loves that movie. But, boy, I don't like it. Like, she doesn't love it's not her favorite movie, but she definitely likes it. There's, like, people in this office that like it. Like Evan Foxy, who produces the videos for everything that I do, basically. He loves Elf. Like, that's his favorite movie. And I'm like, how, bro? How is that? Why, though? Like, why did you like it so much, Jerry? I love Will Ferrell. I once saw Semi-Pro twice while I was in the theaters. I mean, I'm a Will Ferrell guy, but that movie, I just don't get the obsession with it. I just don't even think it holds a candle to fucking Tim Allen and the Santa Claus and the Grinch.
Because I think he's great. I think the Zooey Deschanel is friggin' adorable in that, like in a totally G-rated role. And New York is awesome in that movie. Like, New York is a character in it. I wish the neighborhood around Barstool headquarters was as nice as it looks in that friggin' movie. But it's just
I'll watch it again. I'm going to watch it again before next week. Are we doing a show next week? Yeah, we're doing a show next week, right?
We're going to do a show.
Probably
not. I don't know when. It's going to be Christmas. We'll figure something out. But we got to. Like, I want to hang out with you guys. I want to find out what you thought. Yep.
Jerry, what NFC teams were you talking about? We're losing Pat. I can see him on the Skype connection.
Absolutely.
I'm about to get out of here. I'm about to get out.
I just quickly, who's the best team? Because now that Philly squeaks one out of the Giants, and the Rams just laid waste to Seattle. Real quick, here are the numbers. Not only did they win 42-7, Seattle's passing yards, 71 net yards, 78 rushing yards. Seattle's a good frigging team. They're well coached. There's talent all over the place, and the Rams just obliterated them. They had 244 rushing yards. Todd Gurley lit it up. Are they the best team, or is it still Minnesota, who we've talked about how good their defense is? Now Teddy Bridgewater is healthy as a backup.
The Bengals were getting 10.5 or 12.5 points today. That seemed like a lock. Andy Dalton's going to come out of it at some point here. Case Keenum, no way. I think the Vikings are legit. I think they are a legit team. I think Case Keenum will never get paid superstar money, but I think he's a hell of a little player there. And that defense is incredible. Rudolph, I didn't think he was playing. That's just a really good team out there, and they're hosting the Super Bowl. Good for them. A lot of good things happening in Minnesota.
It's tough, Jerry, to say who is. I guess it's between Minnesota and the Rams. But who knows? The Panthers, they could definitely go on a run. Yeah. They're 10-4 right now after beating the Packers with A-Rod. There's no clear-cut winner, and the Eagles are still legit. You can't write them off, even though Foles, like we said, 4 touchdowns. They had to block 3 kicks to beat the Giants, so that scares me to death for them. But I don't know. That's a good thing. It's completely up in the air. Seahawks get blasted. What happened?
They're capable of puking on themselves every once in a while. Like
also, this when guys start turning on each other. I read it on here somewhere about Bobby Wagner. I guess was Earl Thomas said something about Bobby Wagner probably shouldn't have been on the field because he had a pulled hamstring, and so Bobby Wagner tweeted after the game, "Hey, it's something, Earl Thomas. How about you keep my name out your mouth? Keep balling like you're doing," or something. And then he deleted the tweet. But I'm like, man, they have so much like strife inside their locker room, and now when you're defensive guys are fighting defensive guys. Normally there it's the defense hates the offense and they fight back and forth. But now when your superstars on defense are kind of going back and forth at each other publicly, it's just a weird time.
That's such a Pete Carroll thing. Like, that's the kind of environment when you get out of a guy like that who just, I'll let boys be boys, and I'm going to pat him on the back, and I'm going to give him hugs, and, bad things happen. I'm going to say positive things about how much effort we had. I think eventually this is what it just comes into. He's like a teacher who can't control the classroom or whatever because he's the cool teacher. He's the cool mom who lets the kids drink or whatever. Now
they had a lot of success
of
there. Let's remember they had a lot of success, and they also don't have Richard Sherman right now, who's an incredible football player. So I mean,
Pat, we're not writing him off, Pat. Jeez.
No, I'm just talking about him mocking Pete Carroll. I'm talking about him mocking Pete Carroll's like fucking. Boys will be boys because they're not run like fucking Belichick runs. But I mean,
it's all if it comes back to Belichick.
Yeah, if Marshawn Lynch was handed the ball off, the fucking Seattle Seahawks beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Boys be boys.
Coaches that are that easygoing, there's a shelf life to them, and eventually, the egos take over the locker room and crush a guy like him. I'm not saying it's happening yet, but the clock is ticking on him. And speaking of the clock ticking, last week I mentioned Marvin Lewis, and this is probably the end for him. And God bless him, he broke up with the girl before she broke up with him.
Good move.
Announced today that that's it. I'm done after this year. That's not a retirement. That's a preemptive firing, and I respect him. I respect his game, and he'll be back. It's the first head coaching job, right? And he did it for 15 years. He'll sit out a year. He'll go into broadcasting. NFL Network's hiring.
I hope Marvin goes into broadcasting. That would be amazing. I love Marvin. He actually has a great personality. I cannot imagine what it would be like on TV. I would love to see him try to.
Are you being serious right now? I don't know if you're being serious. That guy looks like fucking Ben Stein.
I am, because I think he could be. I don't know. I would just love to watch him. They'd be like, okay, Marvin, now on camera, it's going to feel weird maybe in person, but you need to just kind of have a little bit of pep, a little bit of energy, or it comes across like kind of monotone. That's something I struggle with when I do games and different stuff. And I would love to see him try to pick up the pace and have more energy on camera.
Him and Jim Caldwell would really be a tag team that I don't think the media industry is ready for.
I know they would. That would be just an absolute emotional roller coaster in there.
Mm-hmm.
Get Pagano in there for a 3-man booth.
Ooh.
Pagano's good, by the way. Pagano is going to be great on TV. Jesus. If they give him a Rex's and O's situation or a Rexplanation or a let's Rexit the conversation or let's Rexit.
Rexit Ralph. Yeah. Look, dude.
By the way, love that movie. Love that movie. Wreck-It Ralph is
actually good.
Genius concept. I don't know how it hadn't been created before then. And also this fucking movie with your boy Matt Damon and the guy that's doing the thing. This whole
where he gets shrunk down.
Genius concept. That's a genius concept. I don't know how anybody had thought of that.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids did it.
Yeah, but it wasn't an entire existence, right? It was just the family.
It was just
Ant-Man also did it, but it's like that's the entire. It's like an entire civilization in there. Bub.
I never saw Ant-Man. Bub.
Now, speaking of movies about the entire civilization.
No, shut up.
Saw Star Wars. I'm not going to spoil anything.
I heard it's terrible.
So, hey,
I heard it's terrible.
Pat, do you know who Colby Covington is? He's an MMA fighter right now.
No way.
Okay, Colby, he's making a name for himself. He's a good fighter, but he's just going at everybody, going crazy. He's taking the entertainment value portion. This Colby decided, however, over the last couple of days, he started putting spoilers of Star Wars out there, saying something about, oh, here you go, nerds, and mentions people dying, whatever happens in that stupid movie. It's my favorite movie he's pulled yet.
What a move, by the way. What a troll move that is. I heard it's terrible, though, Jerry. I was reading up in your little Star Wars, there's some Star Wars Twitter that I found myself deep in the middle of a lot of different threads. Y'all motherfuckers hated it, huh? Star Wars faithful hated the movie.
I liked it more than the real super uber nerds, and I mean the ones that will speak Wookiee. Those kind of people. I've been watching these movies my whole life. I always will. I had fun with it. I enjoyed it, but the more fun has been reading the nerd rage on like the Reddit threads.
Not
like,
happy.
Everyone was so mad because like, I don't care if that was a good story. Like it wasn't part of the canon, and they changed the way this, and they promised that they'd pay off this tease, and then it turned out to be nothing. And it's goddamn hilarious. It's worth seeing the movie.
It's
Just to read the angry reviews afterwards.
For all the nerds that listen to this, it's a good time to create a concept of a movie right now. There's a lot of nerds looking to realign their allegiances.
Ooh.
So maybe go ahead and steal the Star Wars nerds immediately. Like Star Trek should re-up right the fuck now. And they should create another movie right now. Tomorrow, they should be like, listen, Star Wars faithful, I know that they have let you, just like what Vince McMahon's about to do with the fucking XFL. He's about to do that with the NFL loyals that fucking bounce. That's the same demographic. That's what Star Trek needs to do with the motherfucking Star Wars fans. They're all pissed off about everything. If they had an ear to the ground on the internet to what the nerds are saying, they get back in the hustle. Star Trek, and then Vince McMahon, when he does the XFL, I'm probably going to start a quarterback at least once. I mean, let's be real here.
Really, with all those disaffected Star Wars nerds that are saying, that's it, I'm not going to be on for episode 9, they should all come here. We will give them safe haven here at Lace's Out Show. We will give them...
Bad idea. Bad idea. I don't think we're the right show.
We don't want them?
Well, I mean, we definitely want them, but I don't think we should try to get them. I don't think that's our bread and butter. I don't think.
They're looking for excitement. They're looking for colorful characters. They're looking for good versus evil. I think they're going to find all those things here.
Listen, you will. Is that right? I think I just did it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I just did it.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hatred. Hatred leads to the dark side.
Look good, feel good, play good, play good, pay good, live good, die good. And that's really what we all want to do is die good. So same type of thing.
But not until after we've had Christmas. And it's going to be it's great. I'm really looking forward to it. I appreciate, I'm not going to get all sincere, but I appreciate you guys and being part of my holiday season. And we've done, 17 of these shows now, and we've rocked them all. And I'm looking forward to talking to you guys right after Christmas. We'll figure out when we're going to do it, but this was a hell of a week in football, and it was a goddamn hell of a show. So thanks very much. You guys got any special plans for the holiday?
Patrick?
I'm just going to be healthy. I mean, that's the big thing. He's just living this very healthy life, fit life. I mean, I'm excited to spend time with my family, my lady, her family, the whole thing. But really, it's, for me, and this is how I've always been. I've always said this, is I'm just excited to continue to live this very healthy lifestyle that I've been living. Hope you guys all have a great holiday. Appreciate it.
All right. Sounds good. Keep living health, Pat. We're looking forward to seeing the results 6 weeks from now when you're in the cover of Men's Quarterly or whatever it is.
Health. This is one man's health in a journey of men's health. Thank you.
All right. He's the